And here we are, the beginning of another week. It's Monday today. And it's been a heavy beginning. There's been a lot of loss in my circles this week. And some of my dear friends have suffered some pretty powerful losses too. And what can we do with such things? I write songs. So I hope that this song will encourage you if you've suffered any recent losses as well. There's a patient that I had about a month ago, and he was pretty young. He's 10 years older than me, about 40. And just a really wonderful guy, and a great example of somebody who just stayed him through it all, and saw his death as an example that his family would witness, his children, his closest friends, and he's like, I'm not dead until I'm dead, and I can still use this time to show people the possibility of embracing a circumstance even as grim as your own, and use it to represent courage and good humor and love. Sadness, of course, but a lot of love. And so they asked me, or they told me that one of his dying wishes was for me to write him a legacy song. He really loved the song Star. And they were having his memorial this weekend. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get it done. And so I had about a week, and I was up in Idlewild with my mom and my girl amongst the pines. And I was just sitting out there one of the mornings, drinking my coffee with my book and my notebook, and I was just thinking about this example of this man who was so much to so many people. Way out in the desert town of Boron, he was a pretty well-known figure, and he always brought people together, and he treated blood and non-blood like family all the same, and just had a huge family there. And so when he became sick, it was really a surprise, and he was this big muscular guy, and then he kind of withered down into this thin shadow of who he was before. And then when he died, it just left this huge gap and this big void, as we all know that those that we love so much, when they're gone, can leave such a hole that really can never be replaced, because it'll never be the same. But we have to carry on regardless. And so I just thought of this analogy of the pine standing in the middle of this town, providing shade, and how everybody stood in the shadow of the pine as like comfort from the desert sun. And then it goes to like lightning strikes this tree and brings it down, and everybody's just rocked. They're like, oh my gosh, like, what do we do? We can only grieve. And so they're just sitting on the stump, and they're just like, gosh, it's just a shadow of what it was once before. It was just now it's just the shadow of the pine that it was before. And then in the end, it's like the winter comes, and they're warm and they're together because they've used the wood from that pine to light the fires that bring them together. And even though there's not shade, there's the fire casting all of their silhouettes together on the wall, and in theory they're still in the shadow of the pine. And so I got to present it at their memorial this weekend, and it really hit home. So I hope it hits home for you too. It's called Shadow of the Pine.
Would you look at that pine standing tall in the middle of the town? When it makes that shade, we all come around. 'Cause it sure gets hot out here between the summer and the sun. Getting so we be sweating like bullets from a gun. But it ain't so bad, no, we'll be doing just fine. 'Cause we got it made when we got the shade and the shadow of the pine. the summer's over and the lightning storm come round, it struck our boy and he come tumbling down. Well, the bigger they are then, I guess the harder they fall. Sitting on top of his trunk, we feel so small. It's all that's left, and you can bet we'll cry, thinking about the days when we had the shade and the shadow of the pine. Now the snow's been dancing like that lady's cotton gown. Lord, you know it's cold and there ain't much sound. Let me get this fire burning so the light is warm and wide. Silhouette of the wood that burns inside. Now we all come around with love and a little bit of wine. We don't got the shade, but we got it made in the shadow of the pine. We don't got the shade, but we got it made in the shadow of the pine. We don't got the shade, but we got it made in the shadow of the pine. Hope you enjoyed that. You know, it's like, what can we do? We have to feel pain, but we have to use what's left behind to carry on. And examples like this guy and others that you may have known in your life that were just such incredible examples of how to live, even to the day they died. I am honored to be able to witness people like this and be challenged to think like, man, that'll be me someday if I'm fortunate enough to have the choice to act like that. And all we can do is practice and learn and use the wood and use it well. And in the dark and cold times, call upon the memories of those that were strong, those that we respected and loved, and light the fire and come together. So, hope you enjoyed that, and hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.